Hello friends, I am Narinder Singh, and in this video, I bring to you the complete story of Baba Siddh Goriya Ji, revered as a Kuldevta, family deity, across regions like Jammu, Kashmir, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh, and nearby areas. For those who wish to watch this video in Hindi language, you can find the link in the top right corner I button or in the description box below. A long time ago, in the ancient city of Kashi, modern-day Varanasi and city of India, there was a massive fish that lived in a pond. The fish was so enormous that its size became the talk of the town. People would offer dough balls in the pond, which the fish consumed as its food. One year, a devastating famine struck Kashi. With no rain, crops withered, the pond dried up, and the fish, unable to survive without water, struggled on dry land. Starving residents, desperate for food, began cutting the fish into pieces to feed themselves. Among the residents of Kashi was a poor Brahmin family. The Brahmin's wife said to him, "The famine has made life unbearable. Our children haven't eaten in days. Let us move to another land, but the journey will be hard for the children. Please go to the pond and bring back some of the fish for them to eat." The Brahmin, though reluctant, went to the pond. By the time he arrived, most of the fish had already been carved and taken away by others, leaving only its head behind. As the Brahmin turned to leave, he heard a voice calling out, "Brahmin, stop." The voice came from the fish's head. It said, "I am the same fish that has been cut into pieces. My life force still resides in my head. Please, grant me liberation by cutting my head into two parts. In return, I shall repay your kindness in my next birth." Moved by compassion, the Brahmin did as the fish requested. He cut the head into two parts and performed its last rites, granting the fish liberation. At that moment, a divine voice declared, "I will take revenge on all who consumed my flesh." The Brahmin was later reborn in the region of Swanka, Jammu, and Kashmir. Meanwhile, in a distant kingdom named Gorvind, a powerful Mughal king ruled. His daughter was breathtakingly beautiful and secretly in love with one of the king's Hindu generals. When the time came for the princess to marry, the king invited noblemen and emperors from neighboring regions to a grand ceremony. He told his daughter, "Place a garland around the one you find most suitable as your husband." The princess scanned the room and placed the garland around the neck of the Hindu general she loved. This act enraged the gathered noblemen and emperors. They said to the king, "Your daughter has chosen a Hindu infidel. This is an insult to us. They must be punished." Under immense pressure, the king ordered his daughter and the general to be buried alive in the same grave. Unbeknownst to everyone, a small gap in the grave allowed the couple to survive for some time. During this period, the princess gave birth to a baby boy. This child was none other than the reincarnation of the fish that had been consumed in Kashi. After the child's birth, the couple succumbed to their fate and passed away. The boy, however, survived in the grave for several years. He was mischievous and would frequently escape the grave at night to cause trouble before returning by morning. Troubled by this, the villagers reported the matter to the king. When the king learned that a child had emerged from his daughter's grave, he ordered the boy to be brought to the palace. He named the child Goriya. Goriya grew up in the palace, and his beauty was unparalleled. Anyone who saw him was mesmerized. However, he had a fierce and angry temperament. He would often get into fights, striking fear in the hearts of the palace residents and the people of the kingdom. One day, Goriya assaulted an elderly man. The old man said to him, "Why don't you confront your grandfather who buried your parents alive, instead of picking fights with others?" This revelation shocked Goriya. He learned the truth about his origins and vowed to take revenge on his grandfather. Goriya stormed into the royal court and demanded, "Step down from the throne. I will rule now." Amused by what he thought was a childish whim, the king obliged and stepped aside. Goriya then said, "Now bow before me, for I am the king." The king, believing it to be part of the child's game, complied. The moment the king bent down, Goriya drew his sword and beheaded him, declaring, "From this day forth I am the king. Anyone who defies my orders shall face the same fate. Goriya grew up to become a ruthless and cruel king. His barbaric habit involved killing someone every day before eating his meals. He ruled his kingdom with fear and terror, constantly issuing impossible tasks to his subjects and threatening them with death if they failed to complete them. It is said that the people he killed were the same ones who, in their past lives, had consumed fish in Kashi, where Goriya was once the fish. One day, while wandering through his city, Goriya noticed a tailor and summoned him to the royal court. He handed the tailor a piece of cloth and said, "Make me a garment from this cloth without cutting it or using a needle and thread. You have 7 days. If you fail, you know the consequences." The terrified tailor took the cloth home and shared the ordeal with his family. Overwhelmed by fear, the entire family broke down in tears. As the 7 days passed, the tailor, resigned to his fate, went to a nearby pond and sat by the water, crying in despair. As fate would have it, Guru Goraknath and his disciples happened to pass by and noticed the distressed tailor. The Guru asked, "Why are you crying? What troubles you?" The tailor explained his predicament to Guru Goraknath. Smiling, the Guru took the cloth, tore it, and placed it in his bag. The tailor was horrified and thought his chances of survival were now completely ruined. However, a short while later, Guru Goraknath took the cloth out of his bag. To the tailor's astonishment, the cloth had transformed into a beautifully crafted garment without being cut or sewn. Overwhelmed with gratitude, the tailor fell at the Guru's feet and thanked him. The tailor then presented the garment to King Goriya in the court. Amazed, the king asked, "How is this possible?" The tailor replied, "It is the miraculous work of my Guru, Goraknath Ji." Intrigued, Goriya insisted on meeting Guru Goraknath. When he finally stood before the Guru, Goriya felt as though he was seeing Lord Shiva himself. He immediately fell at the Guru's feet and begged for forgiveness for his sins. Humbled and remorseful, Goriya expressed his desire to become the Guru's disciple. Guru Goraknath said, "Becoming my disciple is not easy. First, you must serve, meditate, and practice devotion. Only when you gain control over your mind and senses will you be ready for the final test." Determined, Goriya abandoned his throne and kingdom and retreated to the forest to perform intense penance. 12 years later, Guru Goraknath returned to test him. He sent Goriya to the river, where a boatman struck him with a paddle. Enraged, Goriya pushed the boatman into the water. Seeing this, Guru Goraknath said, "You still cannot control your anger. You must continue your penance." For another 12 years, Goriya meditated with unwavering dedication. This time, when Guru Goraknath returned, he found Goriya completely covered in anthills and surrounded by snakes. The Guru used his divine power to free him from the anthills. Once again, Goriya was sent to the river for a test. When the boatman tried to provoke him, Goriya humbly folded his hands and said, "You may strike me as much as you want. I deserve this for the countless atrocities I have committed in my life. This punishment is nothing compared to my sins." Impressed by Goriya's humility and transformation, Guru Goraknath blessed him. On the sacred day of Shivratri, he pierced Goriya's ears and gave him the name Siddh Goriya. Through the Guru's grace, Siddh Goriya acquired immense knowledge and divine powers. Guru Goraknath then said, "Now go forth and dedicate your life to the welfare of others. Your true journey begins here." In his previous life as a fish, Baba Siddh Goriya Ji had made a promise to a Brahmin during a time of famine in Kashi. To fulfill that vow, Baba Siddh Goriya Ji set out for Swanka Nagar. Using his yogic powers, he traveled underground and emerged from a well in a village called Slade. Women drawing water from the well were astonished to see him emerge. Babaji humbly asked them for directions to Swanka. The women pointed him toward the path and cautioned him to tread carefully, as the route was uneven and treacherous. On his way, Babaji encountered some Brahmin farmers who were harvesting their crops. He politely inquired about the road to Swanka. However, the farmers mockingly replied that they were harvesting dilakai, wild reeds instead of crops. Babaji calmly said, "Why are you joking? I can clearly see you harvesting crops." The farmers, continuing their jest, insisted they were indeed cutting reeds. Babaji, using his divine powers, turned their crops into actual reeds. Shocked and regretful, the farmers apologized profusely. Babaji forgave them and restored their crops to their original state. The humbled farmers then respectfully guided him to Swanka Nagar. Upon reaching Swanka, Babaji began spreading divine awareness, Allah Jagana, and asked the villagers for some milk. Instead of helping, they mocked him and sarcastically directed him to the home of a Brahmin named Dito, saying, "If milk is anywhere, it will only be at Dito Brahmin's house." When Babaji arrived at Dito Brahmin's house, he found a dry banyan tree outside and an atmosphere of extreme poverty. Babaji sat outside and began chanting. Inside the house, Mata Mathura, the Brahmin's wife, called out, saying they didn't even have enough clothes to cover themselves. She explained that her husband Dito had gone out wearing the only piece of clothing they owned. Hearing this, Baba Siddh Goriya Ji tossed a cloth inside. Mata Mathura, now clothed, came outside and respectfully greeted Babaji. Babaji requested some milk. Mata Mathura, deeply distressed, went around the entire village pleading for milk, but no one was willing to give her any. Heartbroken and in tears, she prayed to God, lamenting that she would be a sinner if the holy yogi left her home empty-handed. Baba Siddh Goriya Ji, aware of everything, decided to bless her. Using his divine powers, he transformed the 70-year-old Mata Mathura into a young woman. To her astonishment, milk began flowing from her breasts. Filled with joy and devotion, she collected the milk in a bowl and offered it to Babaji. Baba Siddh Goriya Ji drank the milk and said, "O mother, I have drunk your milk. From this day forth you are my spiritual mother. I will stay here to serve you." When Dito Brahmin returned home, he too had been transformed into a young man through Babaji's blessings. Baba Siddh Goriya Ji addressed him saying, "Dito Brahmin is my spiritual father. This fulfills the vow I made in Kashi during the famine when I was in the form of a fish. At that time, I promised Dito Brahmin that in our next lives, he would be my spiritual father, and we would meet in Swanka Nagar." Baba Siddh Goriya Ji established his ashram at Mother Mathura's house and began meditating under a dried banyan tree near her home. Through his divine powers, the dried tree turned lush and green again. Those who had previously mocked Baba Siddh Goriya Ji experienced his miraculous powers when he turned all their cows into one uniform color and sent them to Mother Mathura's house. Seeing this extraordinary act, the villagers surrendered to Baba Siddh Goriya Ji and sought his blessings. He declared, "From today onwards, I will care for all your cattle." Gradually, the entire village devoted themselves to spirituality and accepted Baba Siddh Goriya Ji as their guru. One day, as per the instructions of Guru Gorakhnath Ji, Baba Kapila Pir came to meet Baba Siddh Goriya Ji. He questioned, "Why are you, a renunciate, living with a family?" Baba Siddh Goriya Ji explained his previous birth's promise, detailing how he had vowed to serve this family. Baba Kapila Pir returned and informed Guru Gorakhnath Ji about the situation, expressing that Baba Siddh Goriya Ji was living with a family. Upon hearing this, Guru Gorakhnath Ji sent Baba Kapila Pir back to bring Baba Siddh Goriya Ji to him. Baba Kapila Pir, along with other ascetics, visited Mother Mathura's house and decided to test Baba Siddh Goriya Ji. They asked Mata Mathura to bring them cloves. Trusting Baba Siddh Goriya Ji's divine power, she brought them cloves from her home. When they asked for more cloves, she again brought them with ease. Witnessing this, Baba Kapila Pir realized the divine nature of Baba Siddh Goriya Ji. Baba Kapila Pir then urged Baba Siddh Goriya Ji to return with him, but Baba Siddh Goriya Ji refused. When Baba Kapila Pir asked for a demonstration of his powers, Baba Siddh Goriya Ji replied, "Powers are only shown in times of competition or war." To provoke Baba Siddh Goriya Ji, Baba Kapila Pir summoned a lion with his powers and commanded it to attack Baba Siddh Goriya Ji. In response, Baba Siddh Goriya Ji erected a wall to protect himself. As the lion continued to attack, Baba Kapila Pir mounted it and charged toward Baba Siddh Goriya Ji, who was seated on the wall. Baba Siddh Goriya Ji ultimately destroyed the lion. A great battle of powers ensued between the two. Witnessing Baba Siddh Goriya Ji's immense anger and divine energy, Baba Kapila Pir realized his complete mastery of yogic powers. Despite understanding Baba Siddh Goriya Ji's capabilities, Baba Kapila Pir continued to test him. Finally, Baba Siddh Goriya Ji used his powers to hurl Baba Kapila Pir far away. When Baba Kapila Pir returned to Guru Gorakhnath Ji, he admitted that Baba Siddh Goriya Ji was not willing to leave. Guru Gorakhnath Ji then decided to send another disciple, Bhairavnath, to bring Baba Siddh Goriya Ji back. Bhairavnath met Baba Siddh Goriya Ji and requested him to return. Baba Siddh Goriya Ji explained his promise and his duty to the family. Moved by Baba Siddh Goriya Ji's words, Bhairavnath decided to stay with him instead of returning to Guru Gorakhnath Ji. Bhairavnath conveyed that Guru Gorakhnath Ji had instructed him not to return without Baba Siddh Goriya Ji, and if he chose not to go, Bhairavnath would stay by his side. When Bhairavnath also did not return, Guru Gorakhnath Ji himself came to Swanka Nagar. Upon meeting Mother Mathura, he asked, "Why have you kept my disciple here?" Mother Mathura humbly greeted him and explained how Baba Siddh Goriya Ji had transformed her life and given her a new purpose. Baba Siddh Goriya Ji greeted Guru Gorakhnath Ji with deep respect and recounted the promise from his previous birth. Although Guru Gorakhnath Ji already knew everything, he acknowledged Baba Siddh Goriya Ji's unwavering devotion and said, "You have proven yourself as a true Siddh Yogi. Your service and commitment to your promise will be remembered for ages to come." Baba Siddh Goriya Ji then requested Guru Gorakhnath Ji, "O Gurudev, grant me the permission to take Samadhi so that I may leave this physical form and serve humanity as a spiritual force." Guru Gorakhnath Ji accepted his request. Baba Siddh Goriya Ji called out to all the cows, who immediately began producing milk. A river of milk flowed from the village, and Baba Siddh Goriya Ji offered the milk to his guru and fellow disciples. Finally, Baba Siddh Goriya Ji entered Samadhi and merged into a mound at that location. To this day, the sacred site produces milky soil, which is believed to have miraculous healing properties. This was the divine story of Baba Siddh Goriya Ji, a tale of unwavering devotion, remarkable miracles, and profound wisdom that continues to inspire generations. If there are any mistakes in narrating this sacred tale, please forgive me, Narinder Singh, as I humbly bow to the greatness of Baba Siddh Goriya Ji. Glory to Baba Siddh Goriya Ji. May his blessings guide us all. For more such inspiring stories, subscribe to my channel EpicVeda. Thank you.